It's Rob on the Road, discovering the stories that capture the unique spirit of Northern California.
Hi there, I'm Rob Stewart, host of KVIE's Rob on the Road. But today, it's you on the road. Over the past few months, we put the call out across Northern California for you to send us your videos of your favorite people or places, for you to take us along as you explore. Here's a quick sample of some of our submissions. Take a look.
Hey, I'm Michael Nugent. Recently I heard about the charity program Paintings for Miracles. Let's go inside.
What I love about it is it takes stories of some of our kids that have been in the hospital, have had these different types of ailments, different types of things in their lives, whether it's an illness, an injury, or something, and they've gone through that, they've had treatment, they've survived, and they're champions for some type of reason. And the artist actually takes that story and they interpret it and they make that interpretation and put that on the canvas.
Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to go skydiving? Here's your chance to experience the free fall aspect of skydiving without the use of an airplane or parachute.
Hi, I'm Donald Griffith here at iFly SF Bay in Union City, California. And we're about to go do a little indoor skydiving, so come on.
We simulate speeds up to 180 miles per hour to uphold somebody while they're upside down or in a vertical position.
Both of those videos were submitted by students from the Art Institute in Sacramento. You know, during this call for local videos, we quickly found a big push from young aspiring producers to make their own films about some serious topics that evoke emotion and reaction. We begin with an eye-opening film about animals looking for a place to call home. It is called Sheltered. Take a look.
Cleopatra came into our shelter as an unsurrender dog. She was picked up in the field. Somebody complained about her owner tying her up illegally, so she was surrendered to the shelter. She's about 5 months old, a little shepherd mix.
My name's Bridget. I'm a volunteer at the animal shelter. New dogs come in every day, and I don't see half the dogs that come through here because people haven't educated themselves about a breed, and then they end up here unsocialized, aggressive, dominant, and then they don't pass the behavior test, and then that leads to euthanasia.
Well, when I went to adopt a dog I was looking for, we just lost a dog, so one that would fit in with our family. We have little kids. We're looking for a puppy who would fit with them and be part of our family. Showed my wife the picture, something in the picture spoke to us, and came down last week on Thursday and spent some time with her and play with her in the play area in here. They have a nice facility here, and seemed like a great dog, great fit. She was friendly. She was, you know, not a hyperactive puppy, but just puppy play, and she seemed to be a good fit until she saw our other dogs, and she just went pretty much berserk. She was spayed, and once the anesthetic wore off, she became extremely aggressive towards our dogs from proximity for no apparent reason. I had to make the tough decision to drop her back. So.
I think all of us would be happy to be put out of a job. If there were no more animals to have to temperament test and find homes for, that would be great for all the staff. I think I can speak for everybody. Nobody in this field gets into the job because that's what we want to do. It's always a necessary evil. But somebody has to do it.
We welcome filmmakers Mimi Wilcox and Oliver Boydo to our KVIE studios. Thank you both for coming in.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
What a tearjerker. I mean, this was one of the first films that we saw, and it really rips your heart out. And what a message, Mimi.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, the animals at the shelter, and it was, sometimes difficult to make it as we were learning about all these things that were happening, but the people at the shelter were really on board with us, and really everyone there, wants the best for all the animals, and it's a hard thing, but, we were trying to raise some awareness about that.
And that's one of the things about filmmaking, Oliver, is because especially when you're doing documentaries, you're delving into some pretty deep topics. How did you pick this topic?
We had a couple ideas we were bouncing around, and being on the doc school class is only a couple weeks long, and so we really had to narrow it down to what we could do and the time allowed. And after throwing around all these complicated ideas, we just thought, why not do something to help out the animal shelter?
And the doc school class that you referenced, we'll talk about later in the show. It's a way that local people can get involved with filmmaking. What were some of the challenges you ran into? Because I'm surprised to hear that you're in high school.
Yeah.
So what were some of the biggest challenges? You have so many more technological advances than people my age and older had when we were younger. What were the challenges you found?
I think for one thing, all of us were really new to filmmaking, and we hadn't had a lot of experience, and so it was jumping into this new thing. And, initially making contact with the shelter and figuring out exactly what we were doing, the production was hard, but once we got into it, it really went very smoothly. And the editing was challenging, but it was really satisfying too, and we were really happy in the end.
Now, do I see aspiring filmmakers here, or is this going to be a career?
Hopefully. I mean, I don't know, it's tricky to get into the film business, but it's definitely something, even if just independently, I know I'd like to keep doing. And
are you doing anything to further that now?
I'm actually helping teach the doc school class with Keith and Chris.
Who we'll meet later in the show. Yeah, so you're working with new filmmakers as well.
Yeah.
And how about you?
I'm doing the doc school another time, and I'm working with a local nonprofit, the Sheriff's Community Impact Program.
Tell me about that, working with another local nonprofit for filmmaking?
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. We just pair up with this nonprofit and we make a film for them. And so their goal is to provide a safe place and activities for youth in high-risk areas. And so they try to create this community feeling and create this family for youth, because if they aren't there, then gangs are, and there's other risks.
And you're going to try to capture that on film?
Exactly.
Well, good luck, because that's going to be a tough project. But after seeing what you did with Sheltered, I think the sky's the limit for both of you. So thank you for sending us your film, and thank you for coming into our studios for You on the Road. This is your chance for that. Thanks, guys. Good to see you. Thank you to our filmmakers, Mimi Wilcox and Oliver Boydo. Okay, on to our next guest, and a film about a man who waited 66 years for his lifelong dream to come true. The documentary is called 66 Years, and it even won an award in the LA International Film Festival. Here is a portion of the moving film, 66 Years.
Normally, boys at the age of 13 have a bar mitzvah. In my instance, my circumstance, it was not possible. Most people call me Bernie Marks, or just call me Bernie. My bar mitzvah, it is a rather odd approach. I didn't have my bar mitzvah, as I mentioned at the outset, because I was incarcerated by the Nazis for 5.5 years in concentration camps. It was forbidden to have religious training. It was forbidden to have schools. We were forbidden practically to do anything because we were slave laborers. We were just slaves. So the only reason the bar mitzvah didn't occur is because during World War II, we were in the ghetto, then went to Auschwitz, went to Dachau, went to other sub-camps of Dachau. And at all of those camps, there was never the possibility. It was forbidden to have a bar mitzvah. That's practically why I did not have my bar mitzvah when I should have, because Nazi regime.
Well, God did take a little bit longer than we had hoped for your bar mitzvah to happen. But this is part of that blessing, because the smallest has become a clan, and the clan a mighty nation. And this is a day that God has given to you. A day for us to be able to celebrate you and your life and the gifts that you've given to this community.
One can only use one word: elated, satisfied. It was great to have my bar mitzvah. That's how I felt, especially when I looked out in the audience and seeing all those people who came to watch me. So, yes, I was absolutely elated that I had finally achieved my long, long life dream.
Rachel Behrman is the Sacramento filmmaker who made the documentary 66 Years. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you for having me.
What a moving film. Where did you get this idea?
I got this idea because I met this man, Bernie Marks, at my work. He was a customer and met him there, and I kept seeing him at my temple, and it just got to become a relationship we had, and had this documentary class and needed to do a documentary, and he seemed to have the perfect story.
So you must have heard through your personal friendship with him about this amazing, life-changing event that was coming up for him, his bar mitzvah. How did you convince him to do the documentary and to go on camera?
That was the easy part. He actually travels worldwide and tells his story, and so it was a way for him to just tell his story to another audience.
What did that mean to you, though, as a filmmaker, to be able to produce something that can really move someone?
It was absolutely amazing. It was my first film, and to have someone who has this amazing story that I could create a film about, it was amazing.
Well, let me just sort of toot your own horn since you're not going to do it. Your first film, you won an award at the LA International Film Festival. You premiered here at the Sacramento Film Festival. I'd say you did pretty good for your first film.
Thank you.
And did you run into any big challenges along the way, Rachel?
Just telling the story, just figuring out which way I wanted to tell it. I re-edited it about 3 or 4 times, completely moved things around.
And as our viewers just saw, you only saw about 3 minutes of it, but the entire piece is 12 minutes long. I so wish we could have showed the entire piece, but we'll have that on our website, which we'll talk about at the end of the show. What's next for you?
What's next? Just graduated school, so
Where?
The Art Institute of California.
Congratulations,
Thank
congratulations. You. And I know you're interning at KCRA Television.
Yep.
And so what would you say to young filmmakers out there? They got a lot of competition with someone who made those big awards for their first film, you know.
Thanks, but you know, it's just trying your hardest. It's just going out there, and even when you have these obstacles, just overcoming them and just telling stories. It's just keep going at it. It's possible to do anything.
Do you think that your future films will be driven with the same type of real stories like you heard from Bernie?
I hope so. It's what I like, so I hope that it will continue to be like that.
Okay. And are you still friends with Bernie?
Yes, I see him pretty much weekly.
That's awesome. Yeah. So a connection behind the scenes as well.
Absolutely.
Well, Rachel Behrman, it's so nice to see you. Congratulations on your film. And again, you can see the entire film on our website.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. Thanks for coming in. Rachel Behrman, Sacramento filmmaker. Good to see you. Our next filmmaker has a very personal reason for creating his video. After participating in the California Voices Video Tech Program, this young filmmaker discovered not only a talent for video production, but also gained a resource that is helping keep him and others on the right path to high school graduation. Let's take a look.
Life is not easy, but eventually I had to realize that the decision to make good choices is my responsibility.
I grew up around money, extortion, and gangs, making me cautious and causing problems at school mainly because I would fight
and never stay in my group homes.
But I changed because I knew that it doesn't matter where you come from
or how you grow up, there is always an opportunity to be successful.
That public service announcement was produced by 16-year-old Anthony Ochoa. Anthony, welcome to KVIE.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. What a powerful piece. How did you come up with this topic?
Me and my fellow employee, who I worked with, we actually came up with this subject because me and him actually grew up in a rough situation, in a rough neighborhood while we was facing hard obstacles while growing up, trying to get a better education-wise for us and get a goal to that high school diploma.
And so what has this PSA meant to you personally?
This PSA meant for me, actually, it's a big impact. Every day I wake up thinking like, okay, I made that, okay, I'm gonna try my best this day, wake up the next morning, try my best that day.
I love it. So it's not only changing other people's lives, but it's daily renewing you.
Yes.
I heard you say that it also has inspired your brothers.
Yes, actually, yes.
Talk to me about that.
My little brother Xavier and Victor, man, I just don't want them to be how like I was, a knucklehead in high school, got kicked out of high school. I want better for them. I don't want them to follow my footsteps. I want them to follow what I'm doing now and be successful in the successful wise, but I don't want them to be in that knucklehead stuff. I want them to look at me and be like, okay, I want to be like him, successful. I want to be somebody.
I love that. You are off to a great start. And you know, you're very open about saying you got kicked out of school, you went to another school, Gerber, and then got involved in the after-school group there.
Yes.
And then you made this wonderful PSA that we saw here for a nonprofit organization. And if you could say something else to someone about getting involved in a situation and changing their lives like you did yours, what would you say? Because there's a lot of people out there right now.
In the video production, right?
Yeah.
Okay, in the video production, I mean, what's not like about video production? If you want to be a music producer, making music videos, that's where you need to be. California, in the after-school programs and the video production programs. Because if you like doing music videos and documentaries and all that other good stuff, you need to be in the programs.
Well, I'll tell you,
and
you were here for Studio Sacramento for a taping recently, and you were the buzz of the whole staff because you just blew the roof off of this place. Everyone was so impressed with you and your story, and we are very impressed with your public service announcement that was really, really put together nicely.
Thank you.
You're off to a good start, buddy.
Yep.
All right, keep it going. All right, thank you so much, Anthony Ochoa, and thanks again for coming. Well, talk about success stories. Our next guests have produced documentaries for PBS and have been hailed by the New York Times for having, quote, a good eye for the unusual and finding fascinating material. Their latest project, the world premiere of the documentary Age of Champions. Here's a clip of that documentary.
On your mark. Set.
Naturally, I mean, when you get to be 87, 88 years old, you know, it ain't like it used to be, you know that.
He always said that he wanted to live to be 100. So he feels kind of renewed now that he started his second century.
I did a lot of dancing last night. I understand that the fellow that I'm playing today is only 94 years old. So I'm playing a youngster again.
The idea is to compete, and you don't have to win, but whenever you do win, it's a nice feeling.
Winning is everything, Bradford. What do you mean? Good guys finish last.
I realize that I'm getting old and most people my age are 6 foot under the ground instead of trying to pole vault 6 foot or better.
1, 2, 3, celebrate!
There's a difference between their team and our team. We play a finesse game and they play a, let's say, a muscle game.
Just courage and faith and strength. That's where the inspiration comes from.
and the rocket's red flare.
And from the Documentary Foundation, we welcome the producers of the film you just saw, Keith Aquat and Chris Rufo. Good to see you both, guys. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. And tell me about Age of Champions. What a cool film. We only saw a couple of minutes of it, but it's premiered all across the country.
Absolutely. Age of Champions is a film that came to us very serendipitously. When we learned about the Senior Olympics, we decided that we had to make a film about it. Neither Chris nor I had ever heard of the Senior Games and the fact that people who are 50 and older compete every 2 years for gold medals and all the different Olympic events. And we decided we needed to run with it. So we immediately sent out a casting call and got started.
Now, you guys are Sacramento filmmakers. You met in high school. And then after college, you didn't go to school for filmmaking, but after college, you became filmmakers. And you began a relationship with KVIE, what, in 2007? So it's been really nice to watch your journey just go from here nationwide. How did you decide you wanted to go into filmmaking?
Sure. Well, I went to school for international affairs, and when I got out of school, I got a job working for a company that did spots for Current TV. And then I had talked to Keith about doing a project together. So I quit my job. He quit what he was doing. We went to Mongolia and then brought the footage back. And we worked with Mike Sanford at KVIE and the rest of the staff here. And they were hugely supportive. We got great feedback on the content, and then also great kind of advice on where to take the film into the PBS system. And we had a lot of success, and we chalk it up to hard work and really great support from the community.
It blows my mind how you came right out of school and then made your film Roughing It Mongolia. That's wild, right out of school.
The younger you are, the easier it is to rough it.
The more daring.
We had a great time in Mongolia, and some of the things that we did back then would probably be a little more difficult to do now. But it's a lot of fun to make film and to have a reason to go to somewhere exciting or meet exciting people. And so we're really lucky.
And your new hit is Age of Champions. You were just telling me all the locations that you've been to for your screenings, and I want to read you a quote that was in the San Francisco Chronicle to brag on you a little bit. Infectious curiosity sets these two Northern California guys apart from the rest. What do you think about that?
It's an honor. I mean, it really is an honor to not just make creative projects like this and enjoy the process, but to have other people enjoy it as well when it's finished. And Chris and I, at our film festivals and at the screenings we do, we have such a great time sitting in the back of the audience and hearing them respond to the film, to laugh, to cry, to cheer, and it's an honor.
I watched Age of Champions last night, and I did laugh and cry. I did both of those things. It's very moving. And you talked about doing films with impact. Your lives are also involved with impact as well. With the doc school, we met Mimi and Oliver earlier, and they learned how to make films from you guys. What does it make you feel personally to be able to not only be successful, and this is why we wanted to spend more time with you guys here during your interview, but not only to be successful, but to teach others to do the same thing? What does that mean to you?
I mean, we think when we started the doc school, our goal was to create this program, which is a 10-week program with kids from 4 counties around the Sacramento area, coming and producing 3 to 5 minute documentaries. And the great thing about it is to really show someone that's maybe 14, 15, 16, that they have a voice and they can produce something that people will listen to and people will respect and can have an impact. So, as Mimi was talking about their partnership with the Sheriff's Community Impact Program, the community is starting to look to these students as a resource for them. And that kind of, I think, empowers them, and even a program like this shows them that they can do something that has value and that's winning respect and admiration.
What would you say to an aspiring filmmaker out there who has a dream but probably keeps hitting challenge after challenge after challenge, which is just the way life goes? But what would you say to a young filmmaker, or any age filmmaker, frankly?
Absolutely. Well, the biggest lesson that we try to instill in our students, no matter what their age or their level of experience, is that when you're a filmmaker, you're a problem solver.
You know, you figure out creative problems to solve, you figure out how to edit your program, but also you're a problem solver that you're going to hit barriers, you're going to have difficulties, challenges, and you have to get past them. You have to stay persistent, and you have to be hardworking. And that's what we tell our students time and time again, that when you hit that barrier, don't give up, because that is the easy thing to do, but stay with it. It's worth it in the end. And you know, we've taught over 200 students over the last couple of years with the Doc School, and without exception, we've had students hit barriers every time, and they always get through it. And some of the barriers are, you know, bigger than others, but they get through it, and they're always very pleased in the end.
Well, I can't think of a more inspirational way to end the show. Keith and Chris, thank you so much for coming in from the Documentary Foundation. And special thanks to all of our guests as well. We will post all the videos from today's show and more on my website, which is kvie.org/RobOnTheRoad. And we want to do more shows like this featuring your work in film. Details for sending us your work are on my website as well. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next time on You on the Road.
To order a DVD copy of this program, call 888-814-3923 or visit kvie.org/viewfinder.